Yes. Hello, welcome to Inner Realms Energy Work, Class 6 with Dr. Wordsmith. Oh my God, this has been like a dream come true. Just if you guys didn't know, I manifested a class about manifestation that teaches people how to manifest. FYI. Um, no, it's great. It's really fun. You're all amazing. So thank you for going the full length with me. And let's get started. Any questions to start? Anything? Okay. Well, I want to start by saying that this stuff really, really, really works. It's amazing. I mean, I'm blown away all the time. So I've been counseling people, helping people, like one-on-one for many years, actually, about 22 years, actually. But about 19 years ago, I started more, energy work and that sort of thing. And I've learned a lot in those years, quite a bit, actually. And so, I do a lot of distance healing. Not so much right now. I've been doing a lot more translation work, recently, but in general, I've done a lot. And it's amazing. I had someone call me recently and they were like all out of sorts. And I was like, okay, give me 5 minutes. And within 5 minutes, took them from very bad time to like, I'm cool. So like, really, it works. You just need like to build a certain skill set, and that skill set includes the energy work skills, the meditation skills, and some degree of philosophy, some degree of what we call worldview, and a high intention. If you have those things, which is pretty much, this is like Lord Buddha's plan, pretty much. This is like, I mean, it's my take on it, but it's basically that. I must say. I've studied other things like energy work and body work. So it's more of like a doctor's avenue to Buddhism. I've also studied Taoism quite extensively, and they're really big on medicine and magic and music too, actually. So, but the way those things fits together is that I've found that if people have certain worldviews, like certain understandings of how the world works, hi Bethany, it is much more difficult to help them. So 2 classes ago, I went over a little bit about the pen thing, which is the understanding that we are projecting our own reality based on what we've thought, said, and did in the past. And those projections, that reality is forced on us. It's not like positive thinking, or it's not projection in the way of psychological projection exclusively, although that is, you can project a psychological projection too, where it's just interpretation. We're talking about matter itself. When I talk about manifesting, I mean, I advertise this class, learn to consciously create your reality. Okay, I meant that. I meant you could be at the helm of your world. But if you don't have the worldview for it, it's impossible. I mean, you can still have the power, but most of the potential will lie dormant due to your worldview, because the power is activated by the mind behind it. Chelsea, what are you eating?
In that moment, I was eating some spinach.
Okay. I'm trying to give a lecture on reality here. So, like, if honestly, if you believe things are random and based upon luck, you will not have the power in your world to create your reality the way you want. It will not work. Because how could you consciously create a reality if reality, you have no sway over reality? I mean, randomness means you have no sway. Nothing does, actually, which no one truly believes. If you truly believe that, you wouldn't go to work. If going to work meant popcorn was going to fall from the sky or you ended up on Pluto, I mean, that's random. I mean, if you hadn't noticed, I was riding the bike today, like all over town, and I was thinking about it. I was like, this huge percentage of people, like people's behavior and what they do, it's not really that varied. I saw some people walking their dog. I'm like, people just like walk their dog, sleep, eat, have kids, die. I don't know. It's like there's like 10 things that people do actually, right? And it's and then I was thinking of famous artists for some reason. Basquiat came in my head, and then Andy Warhol. And I think one of the reasons that people laud these amazing artists and creatives is due to the fact that they're just doing something beside those 10 things. You're like, oh wow, you're not just walking your dog, going for groceries, having kids and dying. You're doing some other cool stuff in the middle there. There's nothing wrong with any of those activities, by the way. But what I'm saying is your reality is extremely consistent. The thing that gets humans is the inability to confirm things that happen to them outside of their cognition, right? It's outside your cognition, if you're human like me, to determine why you were born in the world you were, why you're born to the mother you were, why you're born the state you were in, why you have certain personality traits, why you're good looking, why you're happy. Like most of those things are outside our ken. This word ken, like our ability to like understand, right? And that makes reality seem random. And I love this guy named Buckminster Fuller. Have you guys heard of Buckminster Fuller? He's truly one of the like greatest Americans that has ever lived. Like he's revolutionary on so many levels, and did amazing things. But what Bucky said, he called himself Guinea Pig B. His life was an experiment. What Bucky said was, oh, Bucky was this amazing, he's amazing everything. He was like mega, 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 mega genius. He wore these Coke bottle glasses from when he was in kindergarten or something. And so he couldn't see. And so when he was in kindergarten, they gave the little like connects or something, like, the things to make like little geometric shapes out of, and so most of the kids were making like a square or triangle or something. He made a like I don't know if you guys know these shapes, but like an interstellated like double tetrahedron, which is like, and but he couldn't see, so he didn't know other people weren't doing that. He didn't know that no one ever told him, no one ever set a limit on his mind. So he was just like, this is this is perfect. And teacher's like, what the hell did you? Anyway, he's a mega genius and an amazing person. But he was an amazing prognosticator. Like, he knew so much of what was going on in the world. He would be able to tell you when the price of copper was going to go up or down and things like this, because he knew enough facts to be like, well, Anyway, so we can try to prognosticate, right? Thanks, Vic. We can try that. But what I found, and I've said it before, I'm gonna say it again, I really want to leave you with these things, is that if this is okay, that's worldview. Now we're transiting to meditation. If you can accurately check your mind out, really check it out, and like just be like, just notice everything. How many good thoughts you have, how many bad thoughts you have. Do you think about murder? Do you think about rape? Do you think about saving the world? Do you think about helping people cross old ladies cross the street? Do you think about making Tibetan translation programs that are going to change how people can learn Buddhism in the world or something? Whatever it is, it doesn't matter what it is. When you meditate, you have to learn to meditate, from my perspective, with a neutral mind. You're just observing. And if you can observe that material, usually over some time, like 1 year, to maybe 5 years. I've been meditating 23 years. But when I first started meditating, it was super disturbing. I was disturbed. My mind was insane. I remember the first time I sat down to meditate, I was 18. And I was like, I heard about this thing, meditation. So I sat cross-legged up against the wall in my room. And my mind was like crazy at that time. I was like depressed and anxious, and just my mind was like flying all the time. And I sat down, I meditated for like maybe 5 minutes or something. And I was like, oh, it didn't work. I'm still crazy. You can't be like that. It takes time, And, I had starts and stops for, the first, I don't know, 10 years. Let me see. About that. I don't know, 8 years. And then it became more and more consistent. And then you just start knowing yourself. And you're like, oh, of course I see a world of lovely people on Monday night who want to like learn to consciously create their reality. Like a lot of my mind is focused on being a lovely person who wants to consciously create my reality, to be honest, And of course, I find myself, right now I'm in Philly, I find myself in Philadelphia. Like part of my mind is super edgy still. And I like Philly. I'm like, oh, it's edgy. I'm like, I'll ride my bike through the hood. I love the hood. Like there's something about that actually resonates with me for whatever reason. All good. But I couldn't end up in those spaces if I didn't have a part of my mind that was like that. It's impossible, Like I used to travel a lot. Now I travel enough. But I would have no money a lot of the time. I would go someplace, I got a plane ticket, get off the plane. I had $2. I land with $2. People are like, what are you gonna do? I'm like, I don't know. And I like walk down the street or something. Someone's like, yo, word. I'm like, yo, what's up? Like, hey, we need help. You want a job? I'm like, yeah, actually, sounds good. Like, I have $2. Like, need a job, And I don't well, maybe I recommend it. You manifest your drive to manifest is a lot clearer when you have $2. But it's a hard way to live. It can be very adrenal. But anyway, because in my mind, I was always confident that I would be taken care of, and so forth. I had this girlfriend once, and she wanted to start her own business. She was scared, and she was like, I'm scared that I'm gonna fail, that it's not gonna work. I'm like, listen, how many times have you not had money in your life? She said, never. And I was like, what makes you think that trend is gonna end? She's like, I don't know. Because part of her thinks it's random. And I'm like, no, in your mind is, I have money. Yeah, she transitioned her bank account went like that. It was like she thought she was gonna make like $2,000 or something. She made like 20 off her first retreat or something. I was like, there you go. And so, but that surety came from okay, my worldview, which says whatever's in your mind is what you're going to have. And then my meditation ability, which knows myself well. But when you get to know yourself well and learn to concentrate, learn to meditate, you also pick up very subtle things in your environment, extremely subtle, especially with how people act, body language, tone, breathing patterns, you know, posture, facial expressions, which is part of body language, um, habits, you know. And eventually, yeah, like I think I mentioned it last week, you get very good at that. Basically, even if you're not telepathic, you're not reading their thoughts, you're reading Braille, right? It's like you have your eyes closed, but you can still see all the imprints, and that equals what they're thinking, essentially, right? And that's what happens. Um, so yeah, you have to meditate. And the energy work skills, there's quite a plethora of skills. You know, we've gone into some of them. We've gone into removing energy, removing other people's energy from you, a little bit about chords, um, a little bit about the grounding, having presence in your space, connecting up. And like the reason I've brought these techniques to you, it's to me, it's the fastest way, okay? I've studied with, I don't know how many teachers, amazing teachers, great teachers. I've learned, I don't know how many meditations, I don't know how many techniques. It's tons, probably hundreds and probably thousands. I don't know, a lot, you know? And what I'm giving you is the distilled version, the, I don't know, creme de la creme. You're French, I guess. That's for Chelsea. Um, yeah, and kind of the pith. There's this word pith, like the essence of it. Um, oh yeah, the contract work. And like honestly, that's my practice now. And it's phenomenal. The things that happen to me, the how free I feel, the amount my life changes, how swiftly my life changes. I wish I could give it to everyone, honestly. I wish there was a 7.5 billion people on this call, you know, whoever needed it. I really do. These to me feel like foundational skills for life, you know, like the understanding of our free will and how that in our subconscious mind lays down agreements that then create our world and our experience of our world. And like, if you can think maybe it's too much to create my world, I mean, come on, word. At least think filters, you know? This is how Lord Buddha taught. He's like, oh, create your world. Oh, I didn't mean that. That's too much. I mean your interpretation of your world. Yeah. That's what I mean. Yeah, it's interpretation. I mean, that alone is enough to get you very far in your world. Because uh, an amazing teacher once told me, it's like the first thing he said to me, a group of us, I think Chelsea was there. He said, he's like, you're essentially dream beings. You know, that's what you are. You know, the solidity, fluidity, temperature, motility, and ability to move that you see, that you feel, is your creation. Do you know what those 5 things are? Anybody? Solidity, fluidity, warmth, motility, and
Elements.
what's that?
5 elements.
Yay! Nice, David. Woo! Very good. Yeah, and one of my teachers my Buddhist teacher put it quite frankly and quite clearly. He's like, he was talking about the senses actually. He's like, think about it. Without your experience of the 5 or 6 senses, you know, including like consciousness of your mind, you have no experience. There's no experience that you can have. There's no, like, for some reason he was talking about his liver, I think. or maybe I just thought about it, I forget. There's no body that you have that you can't confirm is there without thinking about it, seeing it, smelling it, touching it, tasting it. I mean, if you want, or hearing it, right? There's no such thing. And so a lot of people, there's some confusion in these schools, Taoist school, Buddhist school, Hindu schools, as far as I can tell, where they think like the senses themselves are imbued with some kind of bad quality that makes life bad. And if you cut off the senses somehow, then you are able to have a better life or reach higher states of being or more blissful states. But it's not it's not just that. And Haji put a comment, it's not even that they're limiting per se or limited, right? It's that the senses are more like a flashlight. Does anybody know this Sanskrit word loka? Loka samasta sukino bhavantu. Have you guys heard that one?
The world? Loka?
Wow, David. Oh no. David, you're invited. You've officially invited to my Sanskrit class.
Okay, I'll come.
Yeah, exactly. Loka is world, but it comes into English as the word light, like lech, that GH thing in the middle. Actually, Luke too, like Luke Skywalker. It means light. A bunch of other words too. But because they believe that your world was like being lit up by you. Like your eyes were like flashlights into the world, right? And like, I would say that's true in a sense, right? So if you think about the world that way, you are the ultimate power in your universe. 100% powerful. And in any way that you restrict such a thought, such a way of being, you do not have power. And you will be unable in those ways to create what you want, period. Glow up? I don't know what that means. What does that mean, Audrey?
When you see a transformation of someone when they, might have been depressed or just the whole demeanor, and then they kind of have this lightning or transformational experience that they physically look like they're glowing. They give off a different just physical presentation, I guess. But I was liking that to that lighting up of the senses.
No, in Tibetan they call it utsel. Utsel means it's utsel. It's half of it. The other half is giluk. It means rainbow body. It means if you see these tankas with like these rainbows around these Buddhas, and that's the point. If you like take this thing to ultimate level, then you just become light. Like you're just like pure consciousness, which sounds pretty rad. I'm working on it. Working hard over here. But there's part of you that doesn't believe that's possible, or you would be experiencing it. And the sooner you admit that to yourself, the sooner. And that's why I do all these percentage games with people, because I know if you don't have money, you either don't want it, don't think you can deserve it, or don't believe it's possible, or some combination thereof. You have some limiting thought, and it's not on the surface, it's not conscious. If you ask someone, they're like, yeah, I'd love to win the lottery. I'd love to have millions of dollars. You're like, oh, really? And I can tell you so many stories of people, consciously they'll say one thing, but you just dig a little deeper and they're like, oh, well, I don't know. I don't want that much money. It sounds too hard and blah, blah, blah. All good. Doesn't matter. What I'm saying is, if you don't got it and it would make your life better or happier or you want it, it's in you. It's there. So the energy work techniques help to deconstruct those patterns. The meditation helps you to see the patterns, and the worldview helps you point where you want to go. And as far as intention goes, I don't know. I think the Buddhists do the intention the best. I've tried to like investigate as many schools as I can, the ones that seem to know their stuff. But I haven't heard anything like what the Buddhists say exactly anywhere else. And that's if you want to, it's basically math, okay? That if you do something for just yourself, the power of that thing will be ×1, right? Like if you do a good thing for yourself, it's awesome, but it'll be ×1. But if you do a good thing for like your family or something, say you have, I don't know, 5 people in your family, it'll be ×5. It's actually just math, it's multiplication. But if you, in your mind, say, wait a second, all these people are suffering because they don't know that they're a dream being that's creating their own reality. Therefore, if they knew that, they would be able to get whatever they want and be happy and have an awesome life. Therefore, I should position myself such that I can teach them that perfectly, whoever's ready. And who should I teach? All of them. How many beings is that? Infinite beings, right? And I don't know if you took, what's that? Calc 1, I guess. I don't know, what's anything times infinite? Infinite, right? So like, why are you messing around with 1? It's just bad math, It's just bad accounting. You could be just doing things, and that's what they say. They say like these beings, they call them bodhisattvas, they can give like a seed to a bird and like turn it into like a paradise or something. Right? Because that one little act can turn into something ginormous, which is true for any seed anyway, right? I mean, what's a forest made of, right? These little guys. So anyway, so that's intention. So if you roll with that, I mean, honestly, the meditation takes some time usually, and the energy work takes some time. I've known people that have like 3 of those and don't have like a 4th. Like they know, like they've meditated forever. They have this great intention. They have this great worldview, but they don't know any energy work. They don't know practices to like alleviate their suffering and the suffering of others in an extremely skillful and like precise way. I mean, laser beam. That's what I'm all about. I'm just laser beam. Someone calls me, has a problem, I'm just like, okay, what is it? And I'm just like, yeah. I'm like, there it is, that thing. And it's just like, boop. And they're like, oh, I feel fine. Like, and they might not know, as you get better at this and help people with it, just realize your clients aren't going to know things about themselves that you recognize because you're the practitioner. On a certain level, you have to have more awareness, a grander scope of understanding than the people you're helping. Just like a parent to a child, the child can't parent the parent because the parent knows things the child doesn't know, right? If the child tries to parent the parent, everyone's going to be in a bad position, right? Not to say you can't learn things from kids, but as far as guidance, right? So like that comes with time, and comes with you doing your own practice. And honestly, you need to be honest. You have to be extremely honest with yourself. I mean, to be honest, I'm honest to a fault. You know, I don't open my mouth about it as much as I used to. But people used to ask me a question and like, I'm just like blah. And they're like, ugh. I'm just like, true. You know, I shy away from that behavior, but I purposely did that behavior for a while because as a kid, I lied a lot. I was really sneaky and always like up to something and would lie about it. So for years, I was like, I try not to lie about anything, not even a little bit, not even like a shade if I can, you know. And if I do a shade, I'm like, oh, sorry, I meant this, you know. Let's be clear, because if you're not that level of honest, you obscure your ability to see reality, and you obscure your ability to manifest reality. Because they say, Paramahansa Yogananda says this in Autobiography of a Yogi. A yogi who's always honest, whatever he says, you know, I don't know if he says he, but whatever they say comes true, right? And that's two ways to look at that. Either because they're so aligned with reality, it's true, or they actually create reality because they're so aligned with reality that what they say becomes the truth. There's a famous story about that in our in the secret lineage of my teachers. There's these beings called Mahasiddhas who are like the most awesome. Okay. Maha means great. Siddha means like ability. And they always have these, they have these amazing stories. Keith Doman has this book, I think it's called 84 Mahasiddhas. He's got a couple of them. One has tankas in it. It's like bigger. And then one is like text and it's like smaller, but more, it's smaller shape, but it has more pages. I recommend both of them. And there's this one yogi named Charangi, and he got that name. Cha is, wait, who knows this pose name? Chaturanga. Do you know what that means?
Bottom of the push-up.
Yeah, what does it literally mean? Do you know? What's anga, like ashtanga?
It means 4 legs.
Yeah, 4 limbs. Exactly. Anga means limbs. Chatus is 4, but before an A, S becomes R, so it's chaturanga. So anyway, he's called Charangi because through a series of like karmic ripenings, he had all 4 of his limbs cut off and he was left for dead. Yeah, it's a crazy story. But he was in the forest and let me see. I think his guru was Matsyendrasana. You know that pose? That's his guru. I think his guru found him in the forest. I think Matsyendra was walking through the forest and found him because he was left for dead. And he taught him a sadhana. And he did it and became this powerful Mahasiddha. And then, and he was supposed to be king. It's a long story, but he was supposed to be king. He was a prince. And like there was a law on that day that somebody with whose body was mutilated in India could not be king. So they cut off his limbs so he couldn't be king. Anyway, he was doing his sadhana under this tree with no limbs. You know, I don't know how that worked, but that's the story. And the king's men came by, these ministers, and they had a chest of gold with them and like jewels, you know? And they were walking, and Charangi saw them, and like he held them like, you know, namaste, you know? And they're like, oh, a bandit. And he's like, hey, so what's in that chest of, you know, like a trunk? And they're like, oh, just coal. Just coal. We just got, just full of coal. And he's like, oh, it's coal? He's like, cool. Let it be so, And they're like walking. And I don't know how far they got. Maybe another day out or something. And they're like, let's check on the jewels to make sure everything's okay. And they open it. It was full of coal. And they're like, oh, we'll be beheaded. We'll be executed. What? And they're like, oh no, that must have been a yogi back there. We lied to him. And what we lied about became true because he said so. They're like, damn it, let's go back. So they turn back, and a day back or whatever, and Charangi's still there, doing his sadhana. And they're like, Mr. Yogi, that thing we said about the coal, it wasn't quite true. It was gold, we were scared. He's like, oh, it was gold? Oh, let it be so. And, and they open the chest and there it is, full of gold again. So, anyway. Yeah, that story is amazing. That lineage is amazing. There's more, but anyway, so if you really come aligned, what you say is true comes true. And and you start to know what's going to happen. I don't know, for some reason, I don't know. I study geography a lot and geopolitics. I'm a nerd. And I was like, I don't know. This is like a month or two ago, maybe a little more. I was like, I feel like the dictator of Belarus is going to fall soon. I don't know why. Something that just is like, I feel like Lukashenko's time has come, I just, I've been examining the situation for a while. I was like, And then like it just popped off like a month ago. Like there's these crazy protests. Actually, this lady just got abducted, actually. The opposition lady, who was very brave and did not flee the country. Her friends fled, she didn't. And a minivan full of secret police abducted her off the street. So anyway, that happened. But I don't know. For some reason. I don't know why. So that stuff will start to happen to you. So being honest is crucial. I'm telling you. Do everything you can. And, be surrounded by good people, like I tend to have amazing people in my life, like people like you all. And sometimes I ask them, I'm like, Chels, me and Chels talk a lot. I'm like, Chels, like, like what's my problem? Like what I got to work on, and she tells me and I'm like, oh God, okay, that's enough. But then I do it as best I can, and then a month later, I'm like, hey, yeah, am I doing better? She's like, yeah, it's working out.
Still smell like poop though. We gotta still work on that.
What's that?
Still smell like poop though. Sorry.
Thanks, Chelsea. So, be surrounded by good people who will and listen to them. I've met people, who are now, old, 70s. And you could tell they just didn't listen to anybody for the last 50 years or something. And it takes its toll. If you don't have people checking you, you don't know everything. I mean, if you do know everything, more power to you. Thanks for coming to class, blessing me. But if you don't, you need good people around. Okay? So that's crucial. And like other texts will talk about these things. Like if you read the Hatha Yoga Pradipika, which Master BKS Iyengar has a good like kind of summary of in the beginning of his book, Light on Yoga, which by the way means Hatha Yoga Pradipika. That's where he got the title. It's the same thing. Pradipika means a lamp. And Hatha Yoga means just yoga of the sun and the moon, which is, classical yoga. I recommend that book. So anyway, David, what are you saying? I have a friend who says, how many bodies? Everybody? Is that talking about infinite beings?
Yeah, like dedicating your practice to all beings.
Oh yeah, that's good. And
he doesn't do that. Because he's a musician, and he
Hmm.
says, like, talks to the crowd. He says that I need everyone involved. How many bodies? Everybody.
Oh, that's awesome.
To this.
My Buddhist teacher has this whole thing he used to say a lot. I haven't heard him say it recently, but because Buddhists talk about this thing, helping on like infinite beings, you know, and you're thinking about like outer space and like, you know, I don't know, the rats in China or something, fleas in Russia. I don't know. But he's like, well, you know who those beings are, right? You know, your family, like the people around you, like all the time. Like that's infinite beings for you. Like don't have this high worldview intention of helping all beings and then like scoff at your coworkers. Like you're trying to help all beings, but then your coworkers like, they're so annoying. You know. Like it's them. Though that is all beings for you. So I know and if you want to know who you are, just look at the 7 closest people in your life. Just make a list. Who are the 7 people you talk to the most? Whatever. It could be like mom, dad, brother, husband / wife / girlfriend / boyfriend. You know, and like your 2 homies and your cousin. You know, and then write down beside each name what annoys you about them. Okay? And that is all the shit you need to work on. It's not random. It's not coming from something else. It's not a coincidence that you're at the center of your reality. Right? That was class 1. So anyway, I'm just giving you methods on how to learn what to work on if you don't know. You know, if you have a good partner or someone in your life, they'll tell you in a second. They'd probably tell you every day. Or they at least give you the look, and you're supposed to know what the look means. You're like, okay, I'll work on it. All right, that's the intro. So today I want to talk a little about entities. It's important. So I have been learning about entities for, I don't know, a while. At least 18 years, depending. I don't know. I kind of come from a family of clairvoyance. My matrilineal line has a lot of clairvoyance. And Jamaicans. And it's a different culture. It's closer to African culture in a lot of ways. And they don't have the same exact scientific worldview as, you know, modern day Americans. And due to that, there's still a lot of understanding / awareness / experience of, you know, what we would call ghosts. They call them duppies. Duppy. That's an African word. It means like spirit or something. What Bob say? I'm the Duppy Conqueror. I don't know if you know that song. And don't make me sing it. You want me to sing it, Bethany? What does it say? I'm the Duppy Conqueror, Conqueror. Yes, me friend, me good friend. We dep on street again. That song. Which is an amazing song. It's all about getting free. Thanks, David. I think I need more than reverb. But anyway, so yeah, so that culture, due to those cultural influences and some natural abilities that I have and some abilities that my matrilineal line has, I've kind of never been out of the spirit thing too much, which is helpful actually, because yeah, I think I told you the joke last time, but my Qigong teacher would say, oh, it's okay that you don't believe in ghosts, you know, or entities or spirits or whatever. He's like, they believe in you. And he's like a amazing exorcist, like amazing. Like apparently he's in California. Apparently like Hollywood stars would go to him and to get hexes taken off of them, because I guess that's going on in Hollywood. I don't know. And he's like, yeah, I'll take the hex off. You know, he charged for it quite a bit actually. But he's good. He's a master, and he would do it. And so, yeah, at certain places, like in the Caribbean and I know South America, yeah, there's still a lot of magic practitioners, you know, all over Tibet too, or there used to be. I don't know about nowadays. Yeah, people doing curses on people and the whole thing. I've heard a lot of stories about such things. So that's a reality, and so is the reality of entities. There's basically types of beings that aren't physically incarnated in the way that we're physically incarnated. They don't have the same level of density, okay? And pretty much all beings need to eat. So beings who are less corporeal, right, less embodied, corpse, corporeal, it comes from Sanskrit, rupa. It means substantial, right? That's where rupee comes from. Rupees, the substantial thing. So they feed on less substantial things than like coarse matter, gross matter. They feed on like emotions, like psychic energies and thoughts and such. And so those beings, they can look at someone like everyone here, like a farm, like how we would look perhaps at a cow or a bee or a sheep or a chicken, right? Keep the chicken around, feed it, gives eggs, we eat them. Okay, you're the chicken in this analogy. You know, and it depends what they feed on. Say they feed on fear, then it's in their best interest to make you afraid. Okay, so they work in the subtle realms, so they'll just kind of feed you some thoughts because you're used to being afraid and you don't have good meditation and your energy work isn't that good. You can't tell that they're not your thoughts. So then you hear, what are we gonna do? The Democrats are coming for us. Only QAnon can save us. Or whatever it is. And you freak out. And they go, you're like a Slurpee. For them, banana split or something. Yeah, Haji, that's good. It's true. And so that's one of the reasons we connect up. You know, you can say you connect to God, right? Allah, Indra, whoever it is, Buddha, whoever it is for you, but connect to a higher power. And that alone, it will help so much. Like as soon as you get really afraid, for instance, or even like very angry or even super sad, especially depression, this shuts down. And the other one shuts down too, like your root chakra, you know, you're the core to the earth. And that's when you start to feel, I'm so alone, you know, it's so much, I'm so overwhelmed, it's so exhausting. All those kind of thoughts and feelings mean you're not connected, because, I mean, there's like infinite energy. I mean, in one like cubic centimeter of matter, there's like enough energy to like power the world for like a million years or something. I mean, do we know how to tap into that necessarily? No, but to say those things, what I'm saying, to say those things means that you have to be disconnected. But to notice you're saying those things, you have to have some kind of decent meditation practice, some kind of awareness practice, or at least have someone around who can remind you, remember the worldview and the, and you're like, oh, that. And then, I mean, that's one of the reasons I can help people so quick is because most of the reason that they are not having a good time is these very basic things. And they do those basic things and like 90% of the issue immediately clears. And then you can start working on the last 10%, which is deeper and is related to all kinds of like deeper habits and stuff, right? So it's in the entity's best interest for you to be disconnected. And like, that also means not having good people around. I mean, I don't know if any of you have been through 12-step program. I haven't, but I've studied a little bit, heard about it a little bit. And they have this thing, HALT. Anybody know this HALT thing? No? Oh, Vic knows. Yeah, they say never get too hungry, angry, lonely, or tired. And then I've heard cold too. Don't get too cold ever. Because maybe you're gonna want to drink to warm you up or something. I don't know. But never basically leave that zone of, never go so far out of the comfort zone that you start to get desperate, pretty much. Because if you get really lonely, you're gonna want, some kind of dopamine, serotonin based chemical in your body, Same with the other ones. Zone of resilience. I don't know that one, David. What's that mean?
It's like a term they use in trauma.
Mm.
Basically, like your nervous system's like edges.
Edge. Yeah, great. I know the concept. I didn't know the term. I love it. Thank you. I love the phrase. Yeah, zone of resilience. Yeah, that's perfect. That's perfect. Then that's exactly what I'm talking about. Once you get out of that zone, and like, I don't know, I used to live on the edge of that zone, like day in and day out. I mean, for years, just on the edge. And, at some points, if you're a hardcore yogi, you're going to need to test those edges, at some points, if you really want to practice. I don't know. I haven't met any hardcore practitioners that haven't had to. Usually around the time you start getting suicidal, you should stop. That's usually the line. That's my line. Probably should like have a kind of 2 steps back from that line. That was Milarepa's line, Jetson Milarepa. So I don't know, whatever works for Milarepa works for me. Anyway, yeah, so don't push it too much, because when that happens, that's when you're most susceptible to influence, right? And I don't know if you guys know about psyops, right? Do you know about psyops? Like if you join the KGB or the CIA, they'll teach you psyops. I mean, marketing is basically psyops, okay? Marketing, advertising, psychological operations, psyops. How to get in people's minds such that you can convince them of something that's happening, and influence them to make decisions without them knowing that you're influencing them, right? Okay. Social media is psyops 101. I mean, that's cutting edge psyops. Okay, Haji says news media. Social media is so far ahead of news media now, because of the algorithms, That even I saw a thing today on Facebook, because there's this big deal now, because Facebook has so many people on there. It's like 2 billion, that they can like literally take down countries now. Like what happens on Facebook can like change what goes on in a country. and is. And so it's a big deal. But what I learned, what show was that? I think it was on MSNBC. But is that, yeah, as soon as you fill out the form, terms of agreement, based on the form, immediately the algorithm starts to point things at you. I mean, ads, obviously, but also your feed, like what comes up in your feed, who, what, everything. Because it's 100% in their interest to keep you engaged no matter what, right? Because the more you're on there, the more ads you're going to see. So, and then they can sell ad space, and that's one of the main ways to make their money, right? Okay, I mean, this is now an $800 billion company, which is free. What's their product? You're their product, okay? This is PsyOps 101. You're the product, right? You're the sheep. You're being farmed, okay, by Mark Zuckerberg, right? But it's the same thing. So in PsyOps, there's a thing you want to create. It's called the psychological moment. So that's the moment of shock, and that occurs, that in that moment, people become extremely susceptible to suggestion. Okay, so I used to do it a little bit because I'm a little demented. When I used to go to theme parks, I used to joke around when I was in line, when roller coaster line, and I would act like I'm whispering to a friend, because some people are scared. They're in line, but they're really scared. I didn't like the kind of things that went upside down. I was like, that doesn't look like fun. But I was never really scared on roller coasters. So I'd be like messing with people. I'd be like, did you hear? Last year, 3 people died on this ride. And I would just say it loud enough just so someone would hear. And then they'd be like, what? What, really? Is that true? And I'd be like, no, that's not true. But the reason they would believe me is because, usually they'd be like, come on, Word, you're bullshitting. But in that moment of fear, they're more susceptible to suggestion. I remember I watched, this class is getting political, great. I stopped watching TV on September 11th, 2001. I was watching the TV in this town here, and I saw the first plane hit, someone called me, and I saw the second plane hit the World Trade Center on TV. And I was like, oh shit. And immediately, in that moment of complete panic, fear, insecurity, they flashed Osama bin Laden's picture on the screen. I'm like, how do they know who? What? What? I was like, come on. I was like, that's too much. But boom, that's all it took. And from there on out, there was no argument. I mean, there was some people like me arguing, but and I watched this city of a lot of Black people underprivileged, not taken care of by the government, not cared about, in the history of the government. They all had flags out, killed, destroyed. I was like, holy shit. Talk about PsyOps. I mean, it was just bam, bam, bam. And all that ground level programming of, jingoist patriotism, which runs through our American culture, just immediately was like, boom, where should we direct? It was like The Manchurian Candidate. I don't know if you guys know that movie. It's very famous. Where should we direct our hatred? At him, at them, and immediately just that was it. All of a sudden, everyone had a flag in their hand. I was like, where'd all these flags come from? But you're like that. You've been like that. When you were a kid, you were like that. If your parent would scream at you, my Qigong teacher would call it splitting the yin and yang. Do you remember that, Chels? Yeah. Yell at you, and then you would go, and you would open up for that moment. And whatever they told you in that moment, in those times when you were most afraid, most insecure, but wanting to fit in, wanting to be safe, wanting to be part of the group, because these are key tenets of human psychology. You would then agree to things that still dwell in your mind, right? to get love, I need to be blank. You know, that's a good exercise. Just write that like 100 times or something. To be loved, I need friends. To be loved, I need money. To be loved, I need girlfriend. To be loved, I need to be good. Whatever it is. And you'll know exactly you'll know exactly what's going on in your mind. I encourage these kind of writing exercises. But in those moments too, that's when you make agreements that create certain kind of entities in your life. Because again, it's free will. But if you don't feel safe, you feel scared, you feel out of control, you're a kid, or you're, I don't know, a scared mom during a pandemic and there's rioters and looters and someone flashes QAnon in your face, you're like, that's it, Q, save me, okay? This is literally what's happening right now. And I'm hearing all these reports about how the algorithm works and how it targeted frightened people. Yeah. But that in those moments, that's when you're susceptible and you make deals with entities. You don't know. You'll eventually realize. You'll eventually know. You'll be like, oh my God, oh yeah, I called in this being. And there's all kinds of beings. They're infinite. Anything you can pretty much imagine. And those beings are there. You have contracts with them. So when you do these steps that I outlined, you know, I try to keep it really basic and clean and clear and what I knew, how I practice now. Grounding, connecting up, filling your space, clearing other people's energy, clearing any cords, clearing any contracts. I have found Vic, why wasn't I in school on September 11th? Is that your question?
You're probably in college.
I was a grown-ass man. I graduated already. Yeah, I graduated. That was the year I graduated. And then, but I found if you at that point don't clear the entities, you will still go through a lot of the bullshit of whatever you were going through. And if you can't see them, like, I don't know how clairvoyant you all are. Maybe initially you can't see them, or maybe you think what you're seeing isn't real or something. You can just be like, any entities related to this thing, I clear. I am no longer subject, based on my relinquishing of these contracts, to any entities. Thank you. Have a wonderful day. You know, you can send them up too. If you can see them, sometimes just send them to like heaven. I'm just like, you go be with the Buddhas or whoever's in heaven for you. Jesus. Jeebus.
Have you read this book called Fourth Uncle in the Mountain?
No, I like the title though.
You would love it.
What is it?
It's a biography of this guy who grew up in the Vietnam War, and he was adopted by a Taoist master, and it's just about this crazy life he had, and he learns exorcism and all these different things. And they were saying that like kind of like the lower method of exorcism is to like get the thing and put it in a jar or something, but the higher method is to like connect it with something holy.
Yeah.
But you'd love the book anyway.
Great. It sounds like another book I read. It's called Entering the Dragon's Gate. Did you read that one?
No.
Yeah, that one's great. It's about this kid who, in like Cultural Revolution time in China, who gets like 3 Taoist masters and like becomes this like ridiculous badass. So, Fourth Uncle in the Mountain. Okay. I love books like that. Thank you. yeah, so, and there's even another level where if you're ready for it, you can make friends with these, and you can be like, hey, listen, I got tons of mental afflictions going on. I don't want them. How about this? I give you all those mental afflictions. You're happy. And you just hang out and just like take care of that for me. And they're like, sounds good. And you could have a whole team, you know? And basically a team just helps you out. And by the way, you already have a team, especially y'all. Okay? You got angels, guardians, guides, and they're all rooting for you. They're all trying to help you. They're all trying to whisper in your ear. You ignore it half the time. You know, you follow your habits, your fears, and they're like trying to tell you cool stuff. So just know that there's just beings, there's holy beings always trying to help you. Years ago, I read Autobiography of Yogi by Pramananji Yogananda. Amazing book about his life and the Kriya Yoga lineage. And from there, I started to learn about his guru's guru, who's named Babaji. And it's this immortal saint that looks like a 16-year-old and has this amazing yogini consort who also looks 16 or like 18 or something. But they're like immortal. And they live in the Himalayas and like basically teleport around the world and like helping people. Like that's all they do. And I was like, oh my God, that's so cool. Yeah, there's all these beings like that. And then I realized one day, I was like, oh, they're helping me all the time. And they're all like, finally, we get some recognition around here. They told me to go to Qigong school. I was like, okay. Then I read this book about how one of the people in that lineage, that book is called Babaji and the 18 Siddha Yogis or something like that. That's an amazing book. And they were talking about how one of them actually purposely reincarnated into China doing this technique called consciousness transfersion and founded the Taoist lineage. And I was like, oh, Qigong is Kriya Yoga. I was like, oh, that makes sense. And one of them is actually Master Patanjali, who wrote the Yoga Sutras. So I'm like, wait a second. These guys are everywhere. I'm already studying all their stuff. So really, you're surrounded, you're blessed. And you got demons, literally, and figuratively. And you have to not want them. On some level, you want them. I mean, hang out with people, really notice, like, they think being angry is cool. They think having these mental afflictions is cool. Chris Rock had a joke about that. About not going to school, and people being like, I don't want to go to school. I don't know shit. like it's good to be ignorant or something. And it's not. I mean, if you're ignorant, you can't help yourself. You can't help others. You can't do stuff. So that's that. Okay, so I wanted to use the last part of today's class to do mini sessions on everyone. Yay! Whoever wants one. I figured it would be good just to see it, because we've done some things, but I haven't taken anyone completely through. so we can get it recorded and you all can see it. Maybe you can ask questions and you can tune into and be like, I don't see that, I do see that, or I see this instead. And, you know, I went to bodywork school. At some point they do a demonstration, you know, and then you ask questions. So this is the demo. We have 43 minutes. Who would like to be my victim? Don't all rush now. Haji. Okay. What's going on the internet, okay? You're cool with it. I'm cool with it. All right. Unmute thy microphone. Okay. Hi, Haji.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good. A little sleepy. How are you?
This is the session. I started, okay?
Okay.
I was talking to them. Okay. I'm very well, actually. I'm very happy to be here today. So, would you like some energy work?
Yes, please.
I just got permission to do energy work on her. Oh, very good. Is there anything you'd like to work on today?
I would kind of like to work on something we started working on, which was clearing contracts.
Oh yeah, you had 2 more that you were contemplating
Yeah.
if you wanted them or not, right?
Yeah, I don't want them.
You still have them. I see them. Okay. So I asked her intention, okay? So you should do that. Get permission, ask intention. Okay. Yeah, you decided. I was wondering how long that would take. I'm like, I hope she gets around to that. Good. You don't want them. All right, let's start with the basics, then we'll get to that. How about that, okay?
Okay.
Okay. So let's just start by grounding ourselves. So connect yourself to Mother Earth. So you can actually feel Mother Earth come up and meet through your feet and legs. And connect into your root chakra and your perennial floor. Okay, very good. Now, open up your crown chakra to the sky and see like cords of light coming from the sky, connecting you to your higher power, your higher self, God, Allah, whatever it is for you. Good. Nice. How's that feel?
Good.
I'm checking in with her. It's good to check in because it helps them recognize if a shift occurred, because sometimes a shift won't occur. I was hanging out with somebody today and I gave them some Chinese herb tea and they drank a little bit and I saw their energy shift. I was like, whoa, your energy shifted. And they were like, it did? So they happened not to notice, but I did. It wasn't big, but I just, it's my life. So it was like 5 to 8% shift, it was like a little ding, so it's good to check in, because the more you can get your clients, your friends, your partners, whoever you're working with, to recognize those shifts, the more that they can facilitate them for themselves. And then they can facilitate them for others, which is what you want. Okay, cool. So now let's just clear some other people's energy that are stuck in your field, specifically around money, but in general too, okay? But before you do that, let's check in. How much of your authentic energy are you running? 0 to 100.
73%.
I got 46. Let me see.
That's the first number that came to my mind.
It's okay. 73% is a number. It's the number of, yeah, you just have a filter, and that filter is, oh, it's a protective filter. We'll just say 50, we'll just say 50-ish%, okay? Because that's a whole other thing. That filter is another thing. Okay, so let's.
I put a filter up.
You did, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I see your filter.
What shape is it?
What shape is it? I don't know. Octahedron? I don't know.
Is the tetrahedron shape?
Yeah.
I don't know. I just kind of do that when I get energy work. I feel like I need to protect myself to some degree.
You're protecting yourself from the dude's trying to help you.
I know. I don't know. It's just like automatic, something that just happens.
It's fine. I don't mind. That's why I didn't touch it. It's fine. You can have it. Okay, so imagine a big magnet in front of you and then one behind you, and it clears other people's energies from your field, okay? Nice. My friend taught me this one. Now, they'll see that they get struck by lightning and like dissipate. Good. Actually, we're going to allow that energy to go into a cloud. And I want to help it transform it. Good. And we're going to feed some of your friends with it. Okay. Okay, cool. All right, checking in again. How did that feel?
Feels like whoosh.
Okay. What's your percentage now?
The first thing I thought was 51.
51. Let me see. I got 86%. Okay, it went up. Either way, either 1 point or a bunch. I don't know. Okay, so now let's clear some cords. Okay, you have a lot of them. You got a lot of close family. You're close with your family.
Yeah.
You love your family.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, you love your family. That's absolutely wonderful. Okay, that doesn't mean you have to take their stuff on, Haji. All right?
Yeah.
All right, I told you. Okay, so now we're going to, in front of you, make a pillar of rainbow light. Okay, and we're going to clear all those cords, of which there's a multitude, and then connect them with that pillar instead of you. All right? All right. Cool, how's that?
Interesting.
You're not used to it. Don't call the cords back. Don't do that. Okay.
It's interesting because I'm not used to connecting them to a pillar of light.
What do you usually do? Just disconnect them or what?
Like chop them off and throw them up or something like that.
Yeah, that's what I used to do too. My friend was
Burn
like,
them off.
my friend's like, well, you could do something a little more gentle. I'm like, I like chopping them though. Okay, so now call.
Yeah, this was more like, oh, I'll just place this here.
Yeah, exactly. And by the way, everyone who's watching, listening, I'm helping her do these things while she does them, and like, and that takes a little bit of clairvoyance. It does. But you can just imagine yourself doing it in the beginning, or just say it or intend to do it. And sometimes you're going to do some stuff in the background that you just say, okay, I'm going to do some stuff because it's too much for them. It's outside of their consciousness level. it's gonna take too long to do it with them. Today, I'm probably not gonna do a lot of that with Haji because I'm taking you through some things that we're doing. But just be aware that that sometimes is the case. Okay? Okay. Okay, so now call all your chords back. Okay, the ones in your back too.
Call them back.
Yeah, you have chords you put out, now you're bringing them back. Like you remove their chords, now you gotta bring back your chords. Okay? Do you want to do that?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Okay. How's that? Now you imagine light comes down from the heavens and like actually fills any spaces that were that have fill any spaces that are now open because those chords were cleared or brought back, okay? Basically, we're filling the spaces in your energy field which relate to your psyche, which relate to the things that you think you need from others, so therefore you're connecting chords to them that aren't in the highest vibration, although they don't necessarily have to be malignant. Okay. Nice. All right. Feel different now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was substantial. Okay. We're still working our way. So next, we can do contracts, okay?
Okay.
Let me see. Contracts. Okay. So you specifically want to work on those 2 contracts around vows of poverty that you have, right?
Yeah. And or if possible and there's time, any other major contracts that maybe I don't even realize or know about.
This is smart. Realizing that you don't even know what to wish for and saying, I wish for the thing that is best for me that I don't even know what it is. That's like the best wish. Because our minds are limited, right? Okay, so very good. I agree. That's a great tactic. I do this all the time. I just say, get rid of any contracts that are bad. How about that? And then all of a sudden I feel better. I'm like, okay, whatever was there is better now. I don't know what it was, and I don't care. Okay, so clearing those last 2 contracts around poverty. Okay, that's nice. Okay, so next you have, I'm kind of putting you on blast on the internet here right now. You got a bunch of contracts around chastity, like something, that realm, okay? The whole sex realm, okay? So
Okay.
you want to clear them?
Yes.
Nice. You're experiencing the last guy. You're like, wait a second, why am I holding on to these? I'm glad you waited. You've come to this resolve on your own. Okay, so clearing all contracts from past lives, any parallel lives, anywhere throughout time where You have contracts to chastity. Clearing. All right. Very good. Okay, now you have contracts regarding the activities that you're allowed to do. You know, and these kind of contracts happen a lot in like monastic settings and stuff. And even for yogis, they'll restrict their activities so that they don't stray from their path, so they just do their practice. Would you like to clear those?
Yes.
Okay. And all that's required is you just make conscious decisions in your life on a daily basis on what you want to do. You don't have to necessarily restrict your behavior. It doesn't mean you then are going to be like, let's go to Vegas, baby. You know, it's not like you have to like freak out and like, you know, be in Macau in some like brothel next week or something. It's just that you don't have to have the contract which limits, because it's actually limiting other activities that you want to do, and you just feel blocked in your ability to do them, right?
Yeah. What about conscious contract, like a contract not to drink alcohol?
Oh yeah, no. Anything you want, you can keep any contract you want. You can make a whole bunch of new ones as soon as this class is done. Do whatever you want. No, that's great. I mean, I have all kinds of internal agreements that are great, you know? I agree not to do heroin, like, works for me. Like, you know, we're clearing contracts, but there's a whole pile of contracts that you want. Like, I'll eat healthy food. I'll, you know, be nice to people. All those things. Wonderful. But it's not, but you don't necessarily want to have a contract like, I can only eat this kind of food, and then it's like ruining your life. It's just like, okay, how about I adjust that to eating food that's good for me in whatever setting I'm in, you know? And if you really want to make a contract against not drinking alcohol, I don't drink alcohol. I haven't for years. One day I was like, no more alcohol. And I never look back. My life has never been like, oh, I wish I was drunk, you know? Never happened. I mean, maybe once in the last 18 years since I did that, but whatever, no. So yeah, nothing wrong with that. You can, all good. Okay, so I'll be more specific for you then, so help. Let's clear any contracts that are limiting activities that are no longer pertinent to be limited in your life. Huh? You like that?
Yeah.
Good. Some specificity for you. You like specificity. What's your sign again? When's your birthday?
Taurus.
Yeah. What day?
May 8th.
Okay. Yeah. Earth sign. Okay. The Earth people like accuracy. Okay. All right. Good. Clearing all those contracts. Okay. You have quite a few of those. Let's do one more pile, okay?
Okay.
Let me see. You have some kind of like limiting thing around your spiritual beliefs, like what you're allowed to like study or think or do spiritually. Okay.
Okay, but what is it?
Yeah, I knew you were gonna say, you're like, wait. It's related to some, I don't know exactly, some kind of Islamic stuff. I don't know that much about it, but there's a whole zone. So, you know, we don't have to go there.
Okay, let's clear it.
You're like, okay, let's do it. I'm ready. Yeah, let's do it. Let me see. You're about 86% on board with this. You're not 100% on board, right?
No, 100%.
You want to be 100%. Well, let's just go for it and see what happens, okay?
Okay.
You're a little scared, right? You're a little worried.
Not like I was when you did the poverty thing at first. That was really different. This doesn't really feel.
Well, let me just say this. Just because we clear this doesn't mean you can't have your connection with your family or your culture or whatever. You can still consciously be Muslim or whatever that is for you. I don't know your relationship with Islam. But whatever that is, you could still engage. It just doesn't have to be under duress, like feel forced or feel necessary. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I could walk into church right now. You know, there's all these beautiful churches in Philly, in the city I'm in. Nothing wrong with that. But I don't have to be Christian. You know, I don't have to identify. You know, I mean, I really talk about Christ all day if you want to. I like quoting Jesus. He's a good guy. But like, I still don't have to identify with Christianity. Or Buddhism for that matter. I'm like a Buddhist translator. I'm just like, whatever works. That's my religion. My religion is physics. Okay, like physics means like what is. That's what I care about. You know? Whoever's got the line on that, I want to talk to them, you know? One day it's Noam Chomsky, next day it's Geshe Michael Roach, another day it's Jesus. They all got good things to say. I just use what works, right? So I'm not saying you have to break your connection, your loving, conscious, amazing connection with Islam, your family, friends, culture. This is clearing the contracts that impel you to act in certain ways, even if it's not in your best interest or limiting you from having great life experiences.
Okay.
96%. It's pretty good. Let's just go with that. You ready?
Yeah.
97, 98. Oh, we're hovering. We're wavering. Okay, that's good. All right, so here we go. Clearing any contracts that would that limit your ability to be spiritually connected, spiritually open, spiritually real. You know, for you, not no one's saying it, but it's for you. Okay, your relationship with God. Got it? Okay, she's on board now. Clearing. Okay. Wow. Okay. That's the last one we're going to do today. You're going to need some time to integrate all this. Just so you know, your life is going to change. When it starts to change, let it. If you want to go back to the old way of being, you can. But it's going to be hard because you're going to be happier and freer and more relaxed and at ease. You know, probably make some new friends, maybe get new work, new opportunities, new ideas, or old ideas you've had that you didn't think you can do will seem easier and more doable, more available, more possible.
Thank you.
Yeah, and just do them. That's my advice. Whatever idea that you've been sitting on, you're like, I can't, it's too much. I have to go to work or whatever. You know, like, just jump on it. Okay?
Okay.
Okay, this is the next part. Let's see contracts and then let's reconnect up. Make sure you're connected up still, and then connect your grounding cords. Yep. Good. Nice. That feels very integrated. Okay, so now let us talk to some entities. All right?
Okay.
Let me see. You got some guys around. Let's so we're gonna clear all those entities that you no longer need their protection because you're now taking responsibility for those aspects of your reality yourself. Right? Empowerment. Right? What does Spider-Man say? With great power comes great responsibility. Okay, that's
That's
Spider-Man.
what Spider-Man says.
It's actually Stan Lee who wrote Spider-Man, who invented Spider-Man, but or Jack Kirby, I don't know. Anyway, that is what Spider-Man says. It's true. Okay. So that lack of responsibility, those places where we didn't feel like we could respond, we gave away power, and that gap, that void, gets filled by an entity. And so however many gaps you have like that, you have that many entities in your field, in your world. Okay? Which is what it is. Okay, so we'll clear all the entities related to the things we just did and the ones in general that no longer serve that, purpose in your life. Here we go. Okay. I made them all your friends. There's 7 of them. 7 of them. They're twinsies. They all look the same. I don't know. I've never seen anything like that. But there it is. Need help? Ask them. All right. And then just imagine golden light coming from the heavens and surrounding your whole body, your whole space. Good. And that clears out any weirdness. Anything that's lingering, weird, I don't know, hanging on, clears up. And then see another golden light come down, and just it fills up anything in your aura field. That left a hole or a rift in it. Good. Let me see. Well, yeah, feel yourself completely protected, grounded, connected up all around. You can see that golden light facilitating that. Good. Nice. How do you feel?
Different. Really different.
Yeah, you do. Accepting donations on PayPal. I'm messing with you. Thanks for everybody who's been giving me donations. I appreciate it very much. But that was fun. Any questions about the procedure?
I have a question about entities related to friends,
Oh,
and if I can help friends in the same way, like
in the same way that I just did, or?
Kind of, because I have like specific ways that I help people, but actually something came up in the past 2 months that those ways weren't helping me help them, or I felt like maybe I wasn't supposed to help them or something.
Yeah.
And then I do feel like maybe I took some stuff on as well, but that you helped me with it actually.
I did?
I mean, yeah, well, what we just did.
Oh, cool.
What we just did.
Okay.
So I'm wondering, like, Are you going to do energy work school level 2 or?
Please do.
we got 2 votes. How many other votes for Bethany? Are you raising your hand back there? Yes, I will do it. I'll do it.
Okay.
Y'all are awesome.
But we can use these methods to help other people.
Yeah, I mean, that's the whole point. I mean, you know, developing a strong personal practice is like extremely important, because that's how I did it as best I could. Like, I mean, certain things I learned to do on other people because that's kind of the nature of that work, like massage or things of that nature. But with these, you know, like body work and stuff, but with these kind of techniques, it's really like you go in your mind, you know, and it's like a world in there. And, you know, our culture doesn't really recognize that world much, but it's an inner world, and it has contours and landscape and all kinds of things going on. And it's incredible. It's like a multiverse, you know, to steal from Marvel, you know, they call it the multiverse. But like, yeah, you can go in there, but once you get familiar with those like grounds, that world in yourself, it is much easier to help others. And then, you know, start with people who you know. I say, I mean, you know, it's like kind of like, you know, being a student in acupuncture school or bodywork school, where you do bodywork, right, Haji?
Yeah, I do body work and Reiki and
Okay, good.
stuff.
Yeah, at the beginning, you just do it on your friends, right? Because you don't want to like hurt some random person. You just, and it's usually easier because you already feel a little comfortable with your friends or something, and then you just extend it out to the public or something. So yeah, you can, you know, rewatch this video, you know, use your notes, take yourself through the steps, and just realize, like, yes, certain aspects are going to be less available to you based on just not having that much experience. But, you know, some people are just freakishly talented, and they're going to be like, oh, I can see people's auras and stuff in their field, and you'll just be able to, and just go for it. Don't hold back. And even if you can't see those things, but you have like a really strong intent to help people, just take them through the steps. You can even just say them if you don't really feel it. Like, connect up, connect down, fill the space, you know, clear the cords, cut the contracts, you know, clear other people's energy. Tell the entities bye. You know, see yourself in golden light. Ding! It will do something, you know? And eventually you'll be like, wait, I saw the golden light. I remember when I first started to see auras, I had a lot of incidents, but there was a time I was a wandering yogi, like really wandering for like 3 years, like super intense experiences and beautiful, beautiful experiences in life. And like, I was in I realized I would have incidences, and then I would remember the incidences, and I would remember them with all the colors in the aura. When I was at the place, I wouldn't see the auras. And I was like, wait, how come? And it was like my subconscious was seeing it, but my conscious mind was like blocking my ability to see it. And then spontaneously, sometimes I would see it. And then eventually those abilities stabilized, and I could just see certain things whenever. But that took time, you know? But in the beginning, it was just like flickers or intention. You know, when I read books like on psychic healing, and, you know, like I told you, wait, no, that was a different class. That was Acuton. Like I was talking in my acupressure with Tuning Force class about auras and Barbara Ann Brennan's work. And I did study her work and tried it on people, tried it on myself, tried to do the personal work. You know, I read a lot and did a lot of personal work before I had teachers. But then when I met the teachers, it was like fireworks, because I did so much work, and then I got to them and they were like, how do you know all that stuff? I'm like, oh, wandered the earth for a few years studying, I don't know, and trying to work on people, even though I didn't really know what I was doing. But my intention was strong, and yeah, and I had some gifts, I had some gifts. So you all have gifts. If you're here, you have gifts. I mean, those of you I know well definitely have gifts, and already in a position to help people. So continue. But yes, you should definitely do these things on yourself. I encourage a strong personal practice, at least a half an hour every day like this. Like, just go through the steps. Go through them to the point where if anything comes up, the things you think about are, am I connected up? Am I connected down? Am I in the space? Are there chords? Do I have contracts? Is this other people's energy? How much percentage am I running? Oh my God, 13%. That's bullshit. Clear, clear, clear. Entities, love you. Bye. Reground. Aura cleared. Boom. How do you feel now? Amazing. Let's do this. Because as hard as you work at clearing these things, certain things won't come up until you meet relational situations, right? So, I mean, to be honest, I've been like super scared of relating to people in a lot of ways for years, because it can be intense, especially if you're really sensitive, like sensitive beyond what people think is possible to be sensitive of. Like I can feel Vic right now in her apartment, her new place. Like I can feel her. Like, that's sensitive. People don't think that's possible. So they can't help. They can't be considerate of that if they don't even think that's possible. Okay? So the relating becomes difficult sometimes. But with these tools now, relating is kind of awesome. Now I'm like, oh yeah, bring it on. Not too much, universe, but bring a little bit on. Because stuff comes up, and then in the moment, even now, like while I'm actually talking to people, I was teaching a class the other day, and like I was having all this stuff come up, and I was like, hey, chords, contracts, boop, 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 boop. And actually, I didn't tell anyone this. I'm telling you right now. I did a huge exorcism while I was teaching class. This huge entity, I don't know, freakishly huge, came out of me, and I was like, oh my God, free. It was amazing. And they didn't notice. I basically didn't even pause in what I was saying, because it's second nature. And I was like, I would pause like, and it'd be like, entity. And then I was like, anyway, as I was saying about, I think it was Sanskrit class, but it was sparked of the situation. I was in the situation. I started to get irritated, but I was like, wait, why are you irritated? And I just noticed a very specific sensation in my body. And I was like, that is super specific. What's going I literally been feeling this sensation since I was 5. I remember when I first felt it. 5, specific impatience around other people's learning pace. And I was like, you know what? I'm done with this. And I just felt it. I just went into the sensation. I didn't avoid it. That's a crucial thing. And it started to unravel, and then it started to tell me what it was. And I was like, oh, that's what you are. I deconstructed it using basically exactly what I told you, and just super strong body awareness using cultivated meditative concentration. And boom, 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 boom. It just started to unlock and clear. Entity left. Little cleanup. Sensation gone. Impatience gone. Class continued. You can just keep doing that until all of a sudden your whole life is different. So Lord Buddha said there's 84,000 mental problems you can have. Basically 84,000 aspects to our mind that could bring you an issue, right? The easy ones like anger, doubt, jealousy, ignorance, those are 5. Those are like some of the top 5, right? But there's supposed to be 84,000 of those. So I was like, wait a second, that seems like a lot, right? But I've been working on this dictionary for the last 6 years, and it has about 55,000 entries, And I've worked with it, all 55,000, several times over years. So I was like, wait a second, if I work with 55,000 entries, I can work with 84,000 mental afflictions. So I did some math. I was like, if I meditate an hour a day or something and work on 20 of those afflictions or something, you know, that's in like 200, what's 2,000 days? Is that right? Oh, wait, 20 a day? No, 4,200 days if I do 20 a day. I mean, that's 12 years. And that is how long they usually say these practices take to get like enlightened or something. Like, yeah, it takes about 12 years. I'm like, I'm on pace. I'm on track, you know? And even if there isn't some grand enlightenment at the end, you feel happier. You are more prosperous. You have more money. You have more choices. You get a better partner, or the partner you have all of a sudden acts cooler. You know, you don't have to yell at people, get angry, get jealous. You don't have to like run around. It's all in you. You're a film projector and you've been fighting with a screen your whole life. You've been trying to yell at Brad Pitt, who is already in the movie doing the part he filmed 8 months ago, a year ago, because you planted the seed for the film projector 8 months ago, a year ago. And you're trying to fight it, and it just keeps going through the motions. You know, the first rule of Fight Club is we don't talk about Fight Club. And you're just trying to hit it in the head. Brad Pitt just keeps going because, you know, because he's Tyler Durden or whatever. It doesn't work like that. But you can just like go in. You can hack the whole thing. That's a big thing now. People are like, life hack, right? Or whatever. Okay, this is the life hack. This is it. I mean, from what I know, maybe there's more. You tell me if you find someone else. I'll do that too. All right. Any questions? David?
I have a couple questions.
Okay.
I have a lot of questions, but I'll only ask a couple.
Okay, it's now 29 after. We have 1 minute left in class. I will gladly answer your question. If anybody needs to go, thank you so much for coming. Thank you for being part of this. Feel free to email me if you need to go later. I'm in contact with most everyone most of the time. So, but if we're not, we can be, okay? Go ahead, David.
Okay. Do you finish the, like, okay, so I've been doing it, not every day, because I've been just like experimenting,
Okay.
but most days.
Okay.
And like, let's say you settle in the body, you connect up, connect down, fill the space, and then you're working on like, you get to the chords or something, and there's a chord. Like, yeah. I had this experience, I felt it right in my left shoulder. And I like set the timer for 30 minutes. Yeah. And I didn't get it out in the 30 minutes. It got like it wasn't as deep. Yeah. But I didn't get it all the way out. Yeah. In those cases, like, what do you do?
This is the thing. This is a big thing. I kind of realized this in 2009. I was practicing and I was having these amazing practices. You know, I didn't know all these techniques I do now. I was doing something slightly different involving yoga nidra and meditating. But and then so I would practice a lot. I mean, hours, like more hours than you would want to know. But like, say I was practicing like an hour and a half, and I would just all of a sudden I'd be like getting into it, you know. But then I gotta go, you know, go to work or eat, you know, that gets in the way sometimes. And then I'd be like, damn it. But say I was working on anger or something, and then I remember one time I was working on this like anger thing, and I was totally still, like in my practice, like, and my girlfriend at the time came in the door and was like, started talking to me, and she just kept talking, and all of a sudden I was like, and I was like but I wasn't angry at her. It was just, I was working on anger. And I got out of my practice, and all of a sudden I was like raging, and I was like, oh my God, I'm like, I'm not even angry at you, but I'm like in the midst of clearing anger. So it's an issue. I mean, that's why yogis go to caves, you know, because like, I mean, to be honest, I've built my whole life around my practice, not the opposite way. It's not like something I slip in. Like, no, my whole life revolves around my practice. And I have a life, like if I want to meditate for 8 hours, I mean, I'm teaching some classes now, but I can wake up whenever, I can go to bed whenever. You know, sometimes I'm up really late. Sometimes I wake up really early, you know. So it honestly, that's just a function of time and being human and having stuff to do. And what I would do is I just pause. It's just like, well, that chord's been there for God knows how many years anyway. It's like another day ain't gonna be a thing. But I practice wherever I am. If I'm on the subway, I'm pulling chords out. I'm pulling entities out. You know, if I'm on the plane, I've meditated so much on buses and planes, you know, traveling in cars. You know, if I'm in the car with my family and they're like pushing all the buttons, I'm like, entities, chords, lights, you know, the connecting. I just go for it. And I don't tell anybody. I'm just like, yeah, that's great. Let's go to that restaurant. Chords, entities, like, you know. So walking, I've done a lot of practice walking. You know, if you're in the city, you know, you gotta walk someplace. I just keep going while I'm walking, you know. So just pause it, just work it in when you can. But my experience is once you're acutely aware of something like that, it doesn't have long to live, especially if you have strong intention, good worldview, and you're helping others with the same kind of stuff. If I notice some pattern, some vibratory pattern, some frequency, it usually does not have more than a day in my field anymore. No matter how old it was or deep it was, it's gone within 24 hours. Once I can truly tune into the vibration, I'm just like, oh, and I'm like, I've been feeling that for 20 years. I just never put my finger on it, you know? And then all of a sudden, gone. So just gotta keep working it, and find the time, make the time, create the time, be time. You are time itself. More questions? Okay, I'm gonna give everyone my phone number. If you don't have it already, okay? There's my phone number. You can text me. You are all now senior students, okay? We will do a class 2 when we can. I'm like kind of booked up until March 2021, but yeah, I got some things pending I need to take care of. And I'm doing a bunch of classes, and my holy, amazing Lama, Guru, Buddhist teacher, I'm involved in some things with him, and I need to honor those commitments as well. And I'm trying to finish a 6-year project, and it's going really well. So I want to do class 2. I don't know when, but bother me, text me, say, when are we going to do it? When are we going to do it? When are we going to do it? And I'll just pull the cord out to you, and all of a sudden you won't remember to text me anymore. No, I love you. We just remind me. We'll figure out a time. Or it will just come to me one day, and I'll be like, we're doing the course, so just be ready. We'll figure something out. And we can make it more like an apprenticeship thing where you're working on people. this time so that, yeah, and spend the time between now and whenever that is. I don't know how long it's going to be, between 1 week and 5 months, knowing me, or more. I don't know. Spend that time doing your personal practice, get a meditation practice, whatever works for you, sitting, standing, laying down, walking, where you concentrate, where you're still, set really clear intentions. And think about the worldview thing. Think, you don't have to agree with me. Lord Buddha said, don't agree with what I say. Treat what I say like gold that you're buying from someone you never met. Cut it, burn it, and use chemicals and check it, like don't give away all your money to some charlatan that you never met, trading your life savings for gold. Don't give away your mind to some wacko, me, on the internet. Think about it. Check your mind. If you're poor, are there parts of your mind that are like, I'm poor, I'm a loser? And then I'm right. And then unpoor yourself through what I told you, etc. You don't have the boyfriend of your dreams. Get it. Whatever it is. And there's nothing like success with these things. If you hit a couple success stories, you'll be sold. You won't need me to convince you. And I've had so much success that I don't do anything but this. I don't run around. I don't do anything now. I do what I'm called to do. I got to eat and stuff. I'm not saying like that. I'm just saying if I have a problem, me, Donald Trump, my problem. COVID-19, my problem. Race riots, definitely my problem. All those things are coming from me. Race riots, am I racist? Yes. Am I violent? Yes. Okay, done. Work on those things, word. Donald Trump, my narcissistic asshole is only out for myself with a bad hairdo? Yeah. That's me. Whatever. Use your imagination. Connect it. It's true. If you see it in your world. But check it out. Don't just believe me. Okay? Okay. Okay. It's up to you all to manifest the class. So if it ain't happening, don't blame me. You know who to blame. That could be your next assignment. Manifest another energy work class. And always manifest either this or something better. Okay? There's someone way better at this than me. And you could learn with them instead of me. I'm all about that. I want you to succeed. I don't need you. We can hang out. If you want to hang out, you can call me. Whatever. I don't care. I like talking on the phone. Right, Chelsea? Right, Vic? Right, Bethany? These are my homegirls. We chat. But if you find another way, a better way, by all means. But you won't. If you do, it's going to be like this. No real teacher is going to tell you, you don't have any power. You're not responsible. It's someone else's fault. And anybody tells you that, is that who you want to hang out with? Okay. It's up to you. All right? All right. You're all awesome. I love you all. Thank you for coming to class. And I'm super grateful for all of you in my life. So if I get an intuitive hit, I will also write you and I'll say, Davey, what are you doing? Or something like that. So if you're bothered by that, just write me unsubscribe. Unsubscribe from my life. Okay? I don't care. I'll be fine. I'm happy. All right. That's it. I will post this on El Internet. All right? And then you can look at it over and over, or never again, whatever, until YouTube ends. I don't know. Okay, cute people. Okay, stay cute. Help people. Share. See you all soon.
Love you.
Blessings. Take care.
Thank you. Bye,
All
everyone.
All right. May all beings be helped by this.
Mhm.
Bye.
Bye.